Yeah.
Comparing your life, your body. We talked about this, but I know of people who have had an issue with social media by comparing. Let's say someone has hurt you or someone broke your heart, things like that. And then on social media, you will then go on social media and see that person being
flourishing.
It's like they are God's favorite child. And you're like,
Karma. Karma, where are you?
Karma.
I thought we had a
God,
deal
you
with
say
karma.
vengeance is for the Lord. What's happening here? Man.
I would rather execute the vengeance myself.
So yeah, there's also that, and it could potentially affect one's mental well-being. Seeing people that have wronged you, or people that have hurt you, people that you don't necessarily wish well, being successful. But then at the same time, like what we said, the solution is, if they're not famous, you're lucky, you're blessed. Just unfollow them. Follow people that repost them. And,
I mean,
control.
if it has a negative impact on you, just don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Yeah.
But the problem comes when that person, let's say they're a celebrity, what are you going to do?
I think now it's now a matter of regulating yourself and how you think about it. I mean, there are also what does the Bible say? It rains for the good and also for the wicked.
Bad. Yes, and also. Welcome to the Safe Lounge.
Welcome, guys.
So I understand that we haven't been showing up as we used to before, but it's because there's been some changes. There have been some changes that have happened over the last few months, actually. Over the last few months. And that has resulted in us being a bit busier than we were before.
Good changes.
And because of that, we have decided that to ensure that there is a bit of some consistency from our end as well, and not to disappoint our viewers, we have decided that we will post 2 videos
per month.
So
one every 2 weeks.
At least 2 videos per month. So there will not be a month where you will not see something, you will not see 2 videos coming from us. That's what we can commit to at the moment.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as time goes on, we'll be able to work around our schedules and
having more episodes.
Have more episodes, yeah. That's right. That being said, we thank you for the people that are still supporting, people that are sharing, people that are commenting.
On that note, if you have not subscribed
and you're watching,
no, please go ahead.
Like, why are you still swatting with us? I've always wanted to say that. Thank you.
Let's commit.
And you said last time, the way I say squat is like, I'm talking about like the
squatting.
Swatting. No, I'm talking about like those squatter camps. Squatter. So I'm supposed to say squatting with us. Yeah. That's illegal stay. You know, we want to be a family. Each family is toxic.
No, it's not toxic.
Have you had people saying that once if you join a company, but anyway, if you join a company and they say we are a family, that's a red flag.
We ain't no family. If it's an organization. But here on the Safe Lounge,
I can say it, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, join the family, be part of us. Don't be coming and going, and don't be a monitoring spirit.
We love you.
Anyway, I'm really excited to be here, to be doing an episode. Maybe because also it's been long.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So we're happy to be back again.
Yeah.
And for sure, we'll have an episode once every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That being said, we're going to be talking about a topic that has affected a lot of people. And I think maybe some of you at some point, you have also been affected by this. We're going to be talking about social media and our mental health, the effects that it has on our mental health and the comparison culture in general.
Yeah.
So over to you, Caroline. My first question would be, we start off with personal issues. Yeah. Just to get comfortable.
Safe. It's a safe space.
Have you had an incident where you have felt like have you ever taken a social media break? Let's start there.
I have several times actually. There was a time where every time I would get bored, it was easier for me to just take the phone and start scrolling. Even if you're not doing anything, you go on Instagram, you find yourself, you've spent 30 minutes easily.
Yeah.
And now there was a time where I had this job and I really didn't like it. It was getting to me. So every time I wasn't doing anything,
social media,
or if I wanted to distract myself from the boring tasks that I had to do, it would just be scrolling. And then you go home, you are eating, you're scrolling. And then, after you eat, you're relaxing, you're watching a movie, or you're scrolling. If you don't have the attention and the bandwidth to withstand 2 hours or what have you.
I have seen a lot of people who do that actually. Like when watching, and I have done that sometimes, but that's when I'm watching something that's boring. And then I'll just then tend to go on social media while I'm waiting for the interesting part to come up. And then, yeah, you're right.
So at the end, like there were times when I realized that I would get not irritable, but just, I don't know what I can say. Is it itching hands or what? I don't know. I just felt the need to just have my phone with me.
Yeah.
And then you realize this is getting too much, and you do a social media cleanse. And then you get into the groove, you start doing live, and then it starts again. It's
like a cycle, right? Yeah. It's like it keeps happening. I have never taken a social media break, like completely, like all social media platforms. But what I did was, I think I stopped using some social media platforms. Like, for example, Twitter, X now. But then I stopped completely because the content that I was consuming from there, it became a bit much for me. And maybe because I'm an empath.
What do you mean? Okay, let's explore this. What do you mean it became a bit much for you?
Because because I'm an empath, right? When social media affects me in a way that it's not affecting me directly, but then I get irritated when I see social media bullying.
All right. Okay.
And I will be then like, I take it personally, like, why are people doing this to this person? Why are people responding like this? Why are people being rude? So I felt like it became taxing on me as well.
Okay.
Because I would be sad, or I would...
So you're not necessarily the recipient of the
I'm not the recipient of it, but then
watching it being done on other people.
Yes. So that's what made me... I just didn't think I had it in me to watch people do what they do to other people on Twitter, especially. It was a bit much. But then now I go sometimes, like when someone sends me a link, that's when I would open it. But then I'm not active on that platform anymore for that reason. So it hasn't been like a hard stop, like I'm not using social media throughout. The others, I would say I'm still in that stage where I use it as a distraction. I use social media, I was telling you, like I use it like a book. It's like I'm reading a book. Most of the time I'm like, oh, wow, oh. this is what's happening. Like, it's like and getting the tea on what's going
What's
on.
going on?
Wha-
Staying updated.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes, I do this. I've told you about this, right? Like,
What?
I can pick that some people are dating through just going through their profiles. I'm like, this person is dating this person.
I've seen this person at this time,
With
at this
person,
place,
with this person.
with this kind of setting. I go to the other profile.
What Sherlock Holmes
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
in me comes out on social media. So I enjoy that. Like, that's what I use social media for.
The detective in you comes out.
It does. It does. It does.
But then the other bad habit that sometimes I pick up and then I have to intentionally not do it is grab my phone the moment I wake up. Grab my phone and go through WhatsApp or what have you.
That one is, I think a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people would struggle with that. And to be honest, before I started going on social media and seeing people talking about that and saying it's a bad thing on social media, I have to emphasize that. It is a bad thing to go to your phone first thing in the morning and be scrolling. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But then now I understand, because it's kind of going to map your day or frame your day, because already, let's say you go there, or in my example, right, I see someone being bullied. Already I'm agitated, but then, and that could potentially ruin my day, basically. So yeah.
Oh, another thing. Oh my God. Now that we've started talking about it, I don't know if you have realized, but my attention span, the times that I'm using a lot of social media, my attention span is very small. Is it little?
Yeah.
Because like I'll start to do something and then I get distracted and then I'll go to do
social
something
media
else.
has,
And then I think I was
it
doing
has that
something
effect.
else.
You're right.
What was it?
I think that has affected most of us.
That's a problem.
It's a problem because we can't even multitask anymore. I think the distraction of social media is greater than the distraction that you would find from anything else. Let's say if someone was going to interrupt you midway, you don't get too consumed, or you're not concentrating so much on that conversation, or it doesn't take, I don't know, like what I'm trying to say is it doesn't take that much of your attention. If we're in the same room and you ask me something, let's say I'm working, right? And then you ask me something, we are in the same room, I can answer you and get back to it immediately. But with social media now, it's once you're watching a video, let's say you're working and then you were watching a video as well, you are consumed, like you're really concentrating on it. It's not something that you could be like, I'm watching a video and I can easily switch to doing something else. You have to like literally stop or put the phone away in order for you to do another task. You cannot multitask while watching a reel, for example.
I hear you. But then now I'm thinking, this is a theory in my head. I don't know how, it can be investigated.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, is it possible that because with social media, you are going through 1 minute reel. If it's long, it's,
1 minute, one
1
minute
minute
30.
right? And then you scroll. If you don't like it, 15 seconds, 7 seconds, what have you. What if we are really being conditioned to have an attention span that is that short?
No, we are being conditioned because nowadays, even for me, right? Like before, I used to watch all movies, even the boring ones. I had that patience, I would say, to enjoy the first boring 30 minutes where you're getting the storyline. Nowadays, if I put a movie and I want to watch it, no matter how much of good reviews I've heard or I've seen, right? if the first 10, 15 minutes are not impressing me, I'm out.
It's a swipe culture.
Yeah, it's a swipe culture. It's like, okay, there's always good. And there's now a lot of content to consume. That's the other thing. I think that in itself,
Information overload.
yes, is contributing as well to our attention span getting. Anyway,
But also considering that some intelligence tests and psychological tests, attention is part of those tests.
Yes.
So then would it then negatively affect you when you're doing those? Attention and multitasking. If we are saying these
Yes.
things have an effect.
It does affect you. And I think at some point in time, that's something that will need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now is even the survey that I was talking about, where some kids are now getting to grade 2 without the ability to write. They can read because they're reading, right, on their gadgets and things like that. But writing,
Yeah, because you need to develop those tactical skills.
but then there's no longer, the need for it is not there anymore. So I think with time, there's going to be, there has to be an adjustment to how we assess people's intelligence and things like that, because we can't continue assessing intelligence based on what worked when there was no social media, when there was no this. I guess maybe it's now measuring how quickly you can switch between things. Like, I don't know. Like I'm saying, what I'm getting to is there has to be new measures that need to be put in place if you're going to go with the flow. Because we can't say a kid is not intelligent because they can't write, and yet they can type and they can read. It's just the skill of writing. Although I'm not in support of this, though. Like, I have to be open about that. I'm not in support of. I think it's just a necessary skill. Maybe it's the backwardness in me. And then I think you should just be able to write. I mean,
it's important. But anyway, times are changing.
Times
The
are
future
changing.
will tell.
And those are some of the effects of
Yeah.
just not necessarily social media, but then just
Media and
media
the consumption
and
of it.
and the consumption of it. So what do you think are the so now we want to match the two, right? Mental health and social media comparison culture. What do you think, where do you think that stems up from, or what do you think would be the roots of, especially comparison culture? Because I think the problem that affects our mental health comes from the comparison culture.
I will venture to say comparison has always been a part of society, right? And it was worse now when we're put in a system where for grades in school, you're competing against each other, right? Who gets to be number
especially
one?
Those of us who went to schools which were
Very academic. Yeah. It was a thing.
You would, actually, we would get depressed. Like, you would start feeling some type of way towards results time.
Especially if you're very competitive.
Yeah, you're right.
So now, the thing about social media, I think, is it then concentrates what, maybe you would be thinking it, but then it's only when you see a person, and sometimes they don't even tell you what's going on in their lives. You just see that they were looking good, whatnot. But now everything is there on your fingertips.
Accessibility.
And it's like in your face, and you're like, but what am I doing with my life?
And I think also it could help to fuel you or some people, but for the greater part, it has more of a negative effect on people because life is different and we have different parts. Even what we were saying, right? In school, it was a bit different because parents who would take their children to schools like the ones that we went to is because they actually believed in their child and they thought that they had, like they were an academic person. Because if they knew that their child is not gifted necessarily in that area, they probably wouldn't even. Anyway, the probability of getting a place was actually also very...
It was quite competitive.
It was quite competitive.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the difference is. Basically, what I wanted to say is it was the environment. In that sense, it was the environment. But with social media now, people tend to forget that what you're saying, people have different life paths.
Yeah.
So, for example, there was one person who was at a school that focuses on academics. There was also another person who was at a school that focuses on sports because that's what they're gifted in. But with social media now, that differentiation is not there anymore.
Right.
So it needs to be you as an individual who then assesses that maybe they're actually gifted in this area. Maybe in their life path, they're supposed to be successful academically, and maybe this person is gifted in art, so that's why they're doing so well on social media, because they know how to present their content and things like that.
And also, I think the fact that most people, glamorizing stuff, most people are not going to be... In fact, you're not even in that state of mind if you're really going through something and it's difficult to take a phone and take a photo of what you're going through, right? But when you are celebrating, you are likely to take a photo and capture the moment because you want to remember it. So then that is what you then present to the world, which is not necessarily the whole picture. And in our minds, as we continue to consume the stuff on social media, you're then putting unnecessary pressure on yourself to say, but hey, the other thing, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It just came. It's a thing, guys. When you're scrolling on social media, when you see people getting married, I was speaking to a friend of mine who was saying, this year, as for this year, I mean, we're just in the first quarter.
We are actually in the first quarter. The number of people.
Somebody was saying, I mean, you go through the statuses on WhatsApp, and it's crazy the amount of weddings. It's unnecessary pressure. I've stopped scrolling.
Every weekend there's a wedding. There's a congratulations. There's people who are posting, and
and you're thinking, hey, there's no one. My DM.
When is my turn? God. I think there is that as well. That effect, it really does bring about the comparison that we're talking about, because there's some things that there's still the basics, like what I mentioned, that we are going on a different life path and everything, but then there are things that you also want, and you're also working towards. And sometimes the reminders that you keep getting that, okay, this person is getting married, this person is getting a baby, this person is getting a promotion, and yet you're putting efforts towards that also, and it's not happening for you. That could in turn end up affecting you mentally, definitely.
Because psychologically you're going to start thinking, am I not good enough?
Yes.
What is wrong with me? Is there something, when people look at me, what do they say? Do they think that do they think I don't have the skills, the skill set to get the things that I want to achieve,
and what the other person is achieving. And then there's another thing that we can talk about this, because I guess with maturity as well, you start to be able to, you develop a defense, I would like to say, like you develop a way of coping with it. But then it turns out that this mental health issues that come from social media affect teens and young adults way more
correct
than they would affect us in general. And that comes from, number one, it comes from the place of the more you grow, the more you develop coping mechanisms, how to handle these things. And also, there's a reason why a lot of things were like no under 18, no under 16. I think it's still the responsibility of parents to be in a position of taking care of their kids and making sure that the social media they're being exposed to below, I don't know, the given age in your country or where you come from is within the limits. Because adolescents, you still haven't watched adolescents, but from adolescents, imagine a kid, a teenager ended up.
What is adolescence? For those who haven't
Sorry.
watched it?
This is a series. It's a limited series that was on Netflix a few weeks back. That was put on Netflix. It's about a teenage boy. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but then basically it's about a teenage boy who ends up killing a peer from school.
Okay.
Because of social media bullying. So this girl was bullying the guy on social media using emojis, like everyone else understood. Because now that's the other thing, right? As a parent, when you see these emojis on your son's Instagram or on TikTok, you're gonna think it's a good thing.
Language is evolving.
Language is evolving. They have these code names that they use. They have these emojis that mean something that's totally different. And this guy was being bullied by this girl and then ends up, he can't take it anymore. He ends up killing the girl. So it's things like that we need to be really aware and really sensitive to the fact that teenagers are being
vulnerable.
affected way more than we think it is.
Because, when you look at it, naturally, teenagers are more influenced. Take away social media, right? Back then, teenagers were more influenced by their peers.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So now their peers at this stage, it's now on an international platform.
Yes.
With social media. So they have a lot of influences and things coming in and information coming in, which really could be an information overload. But then it impacts the statistics. It's mind blowing. It's actually very sad. Because when we're looking at the stats, it was saying that, I think it's in the States, that they were saying that for teenage girls, within the period from 2012, I think, to 2015 or something, it increased, the suicidal rates increased to 150%. And that's tripling. I mean, the suicidal rates, who would have thought?
That's what's gonna happen.
That's the
Yeah.
And about 70% of teenagers,
right, currently, who consume more than 5 hours, right, of social media, are likely to contemplate suicide.
imagine.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's sad. It's sad, and we have to be more mindful and intentional about what our children are consuming and how much time they are spending on
social
on
media.
their gadgets.
That being said, some of the tips on how to know that whether you're a teenager, a young adult, you're a grown-up, is knowing when it's enough, when it's starting to affect your mental health. And I like what you said, because you mentioned that social media gives you this feeling of, I'm not good enough. And the moment, one of the tips or one of the signs that it's becoming too much for you and maybe you need to take a break is when you're starting to feel that way. When you're starting to constantly feel like when you go on social media, you feel like you're not good enough, or you leave with this feeling that I'm not doing so well, and it's constant. That's a sign that you need to take a social media break, or you need to unfollow some people that you're following who give you those vibes. Because sometimes it's not necessarily completely cutting off or stopping social media completely, but it's choosing also who you follow and who you don't follow.
Yeah, be intentional about the algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another thing was, guy, on some level, right? If you're the kind of person who likes validation,
Yes.
when you post something and then you realize you're not getting anyone liking the photo,
It will affect you.
because when people click like, it's validation, it's a dopamine effect on you, it's a feel good emotion, right?
Yes.
And you are going to want to keep repeating that, which then leads to the cycle of people getting addicted to it, because you're looking for that dopamine high. But then when then you post something and then
no one does no one reacts, no one likes, no one comments. And then, but when the moment you see yourself obsessing over likes, going viral, obsessing over those things, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's going to affect you mentally, because you're obsessing over it. And if it's not happening, maybe it's not happening because of this whole, there's also this algorithm thing that goes on. One day you could be just posting videos like us. You could be posting videos, getting 200 views. And then one day you could just wake up and one of the videos has gone viral because of the algorithm. So it's something to also consider, that there's no point really in obsessing over likes, even if it's for business. Even if you're doing social media for business, or even if you're doing it as an extra source of income, because we're not going to lie. A lot of people who are going on social media is because they want to use it as another stream of income, right?
But then that's really kind of stressful if you're saying if it's for business and then you're not getting the viewership and, the...
In the traditional business world, people say the first 5 years of doing business are not so good. So I think when we then now go on social media and we want to start a business of being, let's say you want to be an influencer, or you want to, let's say you want to be an influencer, right? Give yourself that time, allow yourself that time to grow, and also accept that it's normal, because even if you were doing the conventional business, right?
It's a learning curve,
you're still going to face these bumps along the way. So on social media, if you post a video and it doesn't, just be consistent. Keep posting.
Like we're doing.
Like what we're doing. Keep posting and have fun while doing it, because if it's your passion, if it's something that you have said that this is what I want to do. This is going to be my source of income, right? Yeah. So allow yourself to grow, but then don't start obsessing over these things. And
I think stay true to the intention.
Yes.
Right? The intention has to be right.
It has to be. It definitely has to be.
If your intention is, I want to help people in this area, the one or two that you are helping, those are people.
That's your influence for now. That's your influence. And you never know, because someone is going to be talking about an experience that they have had. And that person who has watched your reel, or who has watched your content, who follows you, is going to be like, I think you should go to this page. That's how you gain followers. But then if you're going to be like, why is this person getting 1,000 views and I'm just getting 50?
But the pressure is real. We don't want to dismiss it. It is real. It's actually a thing.
Yes.
But then I think what we are saying is be intentional. When that starts happening, be intentional.
Yes. And comparing your life, your body, we talked about this, but I know of people who have had an issue with social media by comparing. Let's say someone has hurt you, or someone broke your heart, things like that. And then on social media, you will then go on social media and see that person being
flourishing.
It's like they are God's favorite child. And you're like,
Karma. Karma, where are you?
karma.
I thought we had a
God,
deal
you
with
say
karma.
vengeance is for the Lord. What's happening here? Man.
I would rather execute the vengeance myself.
So yeah, there's also that, and it could potentially affect one's mental well-being. Seeing people that have wronged you, or people that have hurt you, people that you don't necessarily wish well, being successful. But then at the same time, like what we said, the solution is, if they're not famous, you're lucky, you're blessed. Just unfollow them. Follow people that repost them. And,
I mean,
control.
if it has a negative impact on you, just don't put
Unfollow,
yourself under
yeah,
unnecessary pressure. Yeah.
But the problem comes when that person, let's say they're a celebrity, what are you going to do?
I think now it's now a matter of regulating yourself and how you think about it. I mean, there are also what does the Bible say? It rains for the good and also for the wicked.
bad. Yes. And
So-
also maybe you need to actually work on forgiveness and things like that.
Yeah.
You need to work on healing and things like that. But then if you feel like going on social media is affecting you because you can't help but see this person, because I would like to think that, let's say if the person that hurt you is a celebrity, for example, you can't avoid it, right? So maybe that's when you would need to take a social media break, heal, and then when you are healed, you go back, such that it doesn't affect you. So the comparison thing, if it's affecting you because that person is just a normal person, an ordinary person, and follow them, and follow people that follow them, people that are likely to repost them, unfollow.
Or detox.
Safeguard
Detox.
your, yes.
Detox, limit the amount of time. Be intentional on what you're doing. Somebody was saying, I'm not going to spend hours on social media if it's not making me money. So be intentional about how you're going to be spending your time
on social media.
Right. And one thing that also helps, and it helped me, is removing notifications.
Yeah.
It helps. It helps a lot because then you stop. If a notification comes, you want to check.
You want to check,
what's
like,
going
okay,
on.
so
Yeah,
and
what
there are
happened.
names that when you see the notification popping, you're like, I need to go.
That would then help
Yeah,
you to be,
yeah.
if you have decided that I want to be intentional about my time, that the time that you say I want to be on social media, that's the time that you go there. And it's not because of a notification that came in.
Yes, it's because you're actually in control of your time.
Yes,
and having other hobbies outside of, because in this social media era, a lot of people have let go of their
extra
hobbies.
hobbies. Yeah.
Unless they're actually doing influencing of going to the gym or working out. That's when you would see people actually concentrating
One thing
on
that
their
I find it's one thing, right, to go to an event or to go to see something happening and actually be in the moment and enjoying the moment.
Yes.
It seems people are no longer able to do that. The moment they see something, they're taking their phone out to record
Yes.
and not actually being in the
there
moment.
in the moment.
And we're talking about social media taking away the skill set of people being able to communicate. You'll be in
physically.
a room, you'll be in a room full of people and
Everyone is on
everybody
their
is
phone.
scrolling on their phone and the room is quiet.
Yeah.
Or one or two people are talking.
And I was reminded of someone that I used to know who, when you're in the same room with them, if they're on social media, if they are on their phone, you could try talking to them face to face. They wouldn't respond. You had to text them or send them a message on their phone. That's when they would react.
In the same room.
In the same room. So it can get to that if you're not in control. And it was saying that over 3 hours on social media a day is too much, right?
It's a lot.
it's also one of the signs that
Yeah.
it's becoming too much, and you're likely, and the statistics, the 70% of people who spend more than 5 hours on social media are likely to contemplate suicide. So let's protect our mental health.
Yeah, choose you.
Choose that, and I was going to say choose us. So I was like, yeah, that.
This is helpful. This is helpful for your mind. Choose us.
And
Choose the safe lounge.
social media is not bad, but then if misused, it can turn out to have a great negative effect
influence,
than what
yeah.
it was intended for. Social media was supposed to be a place where people just meet, reconnect with
Interact.
old friends,
Yeah.
share experiences in a good way. But it's not longer that, so it's important to protect your mental health when navigating social media. There's something that I wanted to say, and then it just skipped my mind. In conclusion, oh my God, that was such a light bulb moment. But then if it comes back, I'll put it in the comment section because we want to engage, right? Tell us also how social media has affected you,
yeah.
and how do you cope? How do you manage?
Give others pointers on how they can better be able to manage the pressures that they face on social media.
Yes.
This was nice, guys.
And guys, tell us, now that we have 2 weeks, right, in between episodes, you can tell us what you want us to talk about. Areas that you find difficult to manage mentally, or that you find taxing. Tell us, and then we'll do a research on it, and we'll come here and talk about it. Thank you, guys.
See you in 2 weeks' time.